stop it. No, it's fine. Why do I sometimes just go into Lady Doubtful? Oh, my God. It's starting again. We're going to keep this in, though, Rach. I'm Yvie Jones. This is Two Girls, One Pod. I'm one of the girls. The other girl this week, you're going to be very excited to find out, is Nikki Britton. Oh, that's her little groan. Nikki is a comedian. She's an actor. She's an all-round gem stone of a human being. You just wrote gem, my producer Rachael, but I added stone because you're that lovely. If you're an avid Nova podcast listener, you may remember Nikki from her podcast with Harley Brain called Mates Talk About Stuff, which is a great title for a podcast because you know what? That's exactly what it was about.
Yeah.
Welcome,
it was
Nikki.
What it said on the box. Oh, thank you. I wasn't sure if I was allowed to talk.
I no, you can butt in any time.
Great.
And
Here I am.
I do actually prefer it when you just start, I love when you're doing an intro and someone just goes, yeah. I had Milo Hartel on and I was introducing her and she just kept going, slay. Because she's 23. And that's what you say when you're that age.
I just love young women.
Young women.
I look at the power they have,
Slay.
the self-confidence they have. Slay, you know?
Yeah,
Slay
they
all
say
day.
it. It's so amazing. I was just listening to Clementine Ford's latest episode about a woman wrote in and she said, my friends are all thin and we're all in our 40s and they just keep doing I feel so fat. Oh, it's so ugly. Oh, I do this. And she is 4 sizes larger than them. And she was like, how do I say that to them? And, so it was this whole conversation, which was wonderful because I know exactly what she was talking about, what this woman was going through. But all I could think of was how many young women just don't. They don't get into that anymore. They're just like, no.
It's so refreshing. It's so great. And we've got these amazing role models.
Yeah.
And, body positivity in our lifetimes. I think both you and I have struggled with body image issues and eating stuff. And it's incredible to see in our lifetimes how significant the change has been. And not only, great advertising campaigns, but actually seeing a new generation that foundationally have that sense of self-worth and that security, and it's not about their body. And it's so amazing and it fills me with so much hope and I'm so grateful.
Yes.
Those sweet things don't need to go through all the mess that we went through.
Yes.
But at the same time, I'm like, teach me. How?
Because even, to be honest, I didn't think I'd see it in my lifetime. So to see it, I'm like, this is happening and I'm actually seeing it in real time. I mean, because the patriarch and the societal, telling us what we're supposed to look like, it's all still there.
That's exactly right. That's what blows my mind. It's, and if we went back in time to look at where our, difficulties with our sense of self or our body image happened, I can't put my finger on one particular thing. I can't put my finger on one thing that one person said once upon a time. But as you say, it's just that patriarchal structure that made me, see myself through the male gaze and diminish myself because I wasn't exactly what that male gaze got a hard on for. But like you say, it's still there. So I don't understand. I wish I could unpick the web and understand what the answer is. But just, I guess, it's people like you and me telling our stories, and it's people who have decided to draw a line in the sand and say, this cycle ends with me.
Yes.
I'm choosing to love myself and be a role model for the next generation. And here's the trick. Sometimes I don't think those people fully believed the love they had for themselves, but they showed something.
Yes.
And that's obviously enough.
And
it's enough.
Yeah, it's almost like fake it till you make it.
That's exactly right. And even though I very much hope that the faking becomes truth eventually for everybody.
Because it is a tool, isn't it? It's a muscle.
Exactly. But at least for the next generation, they are seeing role models that are standing tall in everything they've got with the body that they've got and feeling powerful and confident. And yeah, now I feel like I'm like Ursula the Sea Witch on the other side being like, let me suck your voice. How do I get that confidence for myself?
But, it's so funny that you just said Ursula because I've just watched the new Little Mermaid and I love Ursula and they've now made a movie about her. So it's kind of like, who was the one? Oh, Angelina Jolie did Maleficent to show the wicked witch and how she really became like that and what happened to her and the trauma dumping, I guess, which happens to so many people that turn out to be so awful. And Ursula's getting the same treatment.
Good.
Because she was the cool one, I thought. I was like, more of her.
100%. She's great.
She's the one.
Great.
I saw Jade Adams go as her to a Halloween party and my God, it was brilliant because she just kept doing stories all night long until about 6 a.m, like walking the streets of London, like hammered as Ursula. It was the best thing I've ever seen.
Amazing.
How old are you right now?
40 years old.
40 years old. Let's go 20 years back. What would you tell 20-year-old Nikki if you could she walked in the room, she's just walked into the studio and you've got to tell her something to make her life a little bit better.
You're going to make me emotional, Yvie Jones.
Good. Bring it. I'm Oprah. You're going to cry.
We're going to.
If you don't, I'm going to pinch you under your arm until you do.
I would say, sweet little thing, like you have a voice in you. Like, I'm not talking about like your voice, go out there, tell people, as we're often, encouraged to do in the media, to have an opinion on everything and a hot take and all of that. I would just say you have a voice that whispers to you quietly when you're in the dark moments, and it does love you and it does care for you, and keep listening to it because you're going to walk through a world that is so it's the foundations of the world are created on other people's opinions and other people's values of someone, and it's all a big trick. It's all a big game, and don't let that make you feel unsafe in your foundations because the world is good and there are so many people who are good, but I think what you are being fed is a bit of a lie and you're going to figure it out, and God, it gets better, Sugar Plum. So hang in there. I think something like that.
Does she thank you or does she tell you to get a little? What were you like at 20?
I reckon she thanks me, but she doesn't believe me.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, that's nice. Thank you. Thanks. Crazy lady. Bye-bye.
Crazy lady who's me.
Yeah.
You look good though. How did you get into comedy?
That is such a great question because it's still a bit of an accident. I still look back and go, how did we get here, kid?
So it wasn't something you grew up wanting to do?
Not consciously.
Okay.
Because when I was a teenager, I had an Ellen DeGeneres cassette tape of one of her shows. And I didn't even comprehend that this was stand-up comedy that had been performed and recorded and was now on a cassette tape. I thought it was just like, this is fun. Someone said some funny things. And because we grew up watching Robin Williams and Billy Connolly and my grandparents sat me down and gave me an education in front of I Love Lucy for decades.
Can I just interrupt you right here? Please. I had Nikki on my other podcast, which I am not on anymore, called Chickstry. And Chicks in History is what Chickstry is all about. So we started having all these special guests, me and Annie Potatoes, and it was mostly so we could get more downloads because we'd use their fame, and also so we didn't have to do the research ourselves. It was a two-pronged lazy effect.
Genius.
And it worked. It worked brilliantly. We got so many new listeners and people going, oh, I love her. But your one where you said you bring the chicken history that you think is great, and yours was Lucille Ball.
Lucille Ball. I stand by it.
And I still love that episode because you told us things that we didn't know because Nicole Kidman hadn't made the movie yet.
Yes. So there was so much, Nicole Kidman's made the movie now, so now we all know. But she was the first woman to be pregnant on American TV. Yep. She was the first interracial marriage on TV in America, and she fought for all of those things. Like, they were not going to let her do that. And she got her first TV show at 40 years old.
Yeah, she did. And so she ended up
hello,
starting.
universe. I'm talking to you.
Putting it out there right now into the ether, and it is because we've just said it. And she started Paramount Pictures.
Yes, she began. She literally, it was originally Desilu Productions and it went through kind of a whole lot of iterations, but effectively she began Paramount Studios.
It was her.
Which is now,
like, that's what blew my mind when I saw the movie and you could see how kind of, I guess, controlling and a little bit useless Desi was. It was all her. It was all her. And it was because it was such a shame because the movie was so shithouse. Sorry, Nicole, if you're listening again. But it wasn't a great movie and it should have been. It should have been. And it wasn't because of her. It just wasn't a great movie. And it was such an interesting story. So I was so sad that it didn't do what it was supposed to do.
Totally, yeah. And she was such an interesting character because by the end of her life, like you see any YouTube interview or something with her and she's got this gravelly voice and there's just a kind of bitterness in there, I think, like an edge.
Resentment.
In there.
Almost.
Yeah. And she is, and I don't blame her for a second.
No.
Because she
I'd be more resentful.
Path.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
And just all of the pressures that we're talking about in terms of being thin and being seen through the male gaze and all of that stuff would have been tenfold on her.
Yeah.
And still she fought and forged the path that so many of us tread now.
Yeah, and wouldn't even know that they're treading her path.
Wouldn't even know.
That she cut the whippersnipper, got it out and cut that path and all those weeds.
You know, the funny woman path, the woman, powerful woman in television path. But also she did it through comedy.
Yeah.
And I think that's such an, I think.
Because women can't be funny. Well, women aren't funny.
Women can't be funny.
Yeah.
But I've always hoped in my comedy as well to for the laughter, it's to sort of be the Trojan horse, you can get messages across and you can kind of speak a little bit of truth.
Yes.
If they're laughing, you can take them anywhere.
Yes.
And I don't mean for that to sound like I'm a manipulative person.
I love that you're a cult leader now. And I think
well, we didn't see it coming, but she really turned.
What's the guy called that does the Scientology? Machiavelli? I don't know. Tom Cruise. Let's just call him that.
Ron L. Hubbard? No,
he started it. Yeah, he did. But Machiavelli, I don't know how to say his last name. But
Machiavelli?
Machiavelli. And he's really tiny like Tom Cruise. So it's always these tiny little men that start these cults. And
totally.
But I digress. Let's go back. You had the Ellen DeGeneres tape. And you listen and you watch shows like I Love Lucy.
Yes, and we kind of watch stand up here and there, but never ever did I think that I would do anything like that. And
really?
No. And I particularly
did you have siblings?
I had I've got an older sister.
And what was she like?
She was the rebel.
Okay.
She was
you were a good girl?
It was a funny upbringing because she was chronically ill. So it's an interesting dynamic when you've got a chronically ill sibling and so I was a younger sibling and so I was very much the people pleasing, fit into where you need to fit into to make sure that the harmony of the family was maintained.
What a
in some
dynamic.
way. Yeah. So when you read stuff and you're like, oh, elder sibling traits are this and younger sibling traits are this. Both of us are a real mix because I had to operate as the older sibling sometimes and also she probably has some only child traits because we were separate for so much of our life growing up because she was always in hospital. And I was, being trucked around to grandparents or aunties and uncles to stay with them. So it was there was a lot of love. But there was a sense of instability growing up because of the circumstances that were going on.
Yeah.
So, oh gosh, the question was, do you have an older sibling?
No, and before that it was like, well, that's what I wanted to know, if you had a sibling, because often if you end up being the entertainer, it's because you're vying for attention. So the fact that you not only had a sibling, an older sibling, but a sibling as a chronic illness, you would have been not just a people pleaser, but you would have wanted people to laugh. Because
Absolutely.
if you got them happy, then all the seriousness of your sister's illness would have been, balanced out because you had this funny little girl who was making it, and just so lovely to be around, so people would want you around more often. And you wouldn't even know that you were doing that.
Totally. Oh, gosh, here we go again. Oprah, you've got me. I mean, you come on for a chat with a mate and you're weeping.
You're weeping, I'm weeping. So
it's so true though. Yeah, like I definitely developed a way of being the lightness and being the comedy, even though my sister is very, very funny in her own right, and my whole family sort of are. But the people pleasing, I'm happy to be, put uncomfortable or put aside, or I'll cope, I'm fine, I'm okay, and just never wanting to rock the boat because, that was me rocking the boat made things really hard for everyone else.
And you would have been told that. Imagine how a small. You just can't comprehend it as a child. All you know is energy, and you hear things that you don't understand what that really means, but you just know tone and you know energy of someone who's angry or stressed. And to have a child see parents who are stressed is such a confusing thing. It's this reconciliation you can't do in yourself. You don't have the smarts, you don't have the verbal, you don't have the words, you don't have the feel. Like, all you do is have the feeling, but you don't know what you're doing. So you just start either acting out or acting out. You do, in one way or the other. You either start really mucking up, or you get sick yourself. A lot of children do that. They start to, kind of Munchausen's themselves.
Yeah, psychosomatically. Yeah.
Exactly. Or they start to just, everything's fine. Everything's fine when I'm here. Yeah. Everyone is really happy and I'm just easy. I can pack a bag at a 2 minutes and I'm out the door and I'm at Nan and Pops and everyone's good and no one's.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Do you have a lot of therapy?
Oh, my God, so much. So much.
Good.
Even that 20-year-old I was talking to earlier, she'd been in therapy for a good few years.
Oh, good.
But, that idea as well, that if I can be entertaining and people-pleasing enough, then I won't have to go to Nana and Grandpa's and maybe I could just stay with my family.
Oh, yeah.
But, this is so don't worry, guys. I have done the work. I'm okay.
And you're still doing the work.
It never ends.
It never ends. Who Rosie Waterland, we had her on a couple of weeks ago, and she was saying that someone said to her, hey, you've had the same therapist for 20 years. Like, you'd think, and she's like, it doesn't work like that. The fact that I've had a few breakthroughs with this one therapist is because I've had them for 20 years. Yeah, and I'm going to have them for the next 20 years to keep working with me, to keep me sane. Well, pretending to be sane.
Absolutely.
And that's what, the work, it's so constant. And then you start to, you turn 40 and then you're like, you've got this new existential crisis of mortality. You're like, holy shit, I'm going to die one day. And have I done enough? I'm like, am I too old to start that? Or have I,
mate.
Like, is that happening for you?
It wasn't before this chat, but geez, you really... Wow, put things in perspective.
Okay, let's just.
No, it was absolutely. It's a funny thing to be a woman in the media and say your age and what I think I've probably got a bit of a, purely because I spent most of my youth inside dark rooms in theatres and I don't have kids. Sometimes I can look a bit younger, or maybe my energy is younger than people would perceive 40 to be. Yep. And that is lovely. And so often people have encouraged me to not talk about my age or age myself down.
Oh, and never do that to a man.
Oh, no, they wouldn't. But it does feel like there is a new vibe out there. And look, I guess we look to Hollywood to give us our, women in media role models.
Yeah.
But it really does feel like all of the cosmetic surgery and the Botox, and if people do that, that's fine, live your truth, that's okay. But it really does feel like there's a push coming from the authenticity of these women who want to be now, finally, the possibility is there that they'll be acknowledged as wise women, as women who have lived a life and learned things. And it feels like we may never be at a place where we wear our wrinkles and our scars with 100% pride, but it really does feel like we're getting a lot closer to,
totally agree.
and,
we're getting there.
And appreciating that as beauty, appreciating years past as beautiful.
Well, just like we said in the very beginning, we're seeing these younger women who are almost like role models for us.
Yeah.
Even though we're old, we're like, how do you get the confidence? But we're also seeing older women who are ditching the box of hair dye, going grey, ditching the Botox and letting. I was just saying to Rach on the weekend, was it you that I was saying I'm not doing Botox anymore? It was someone on the weekend that I said I'm not doing it anymore because I want to act. And the last acting role I did, I had a
was that Deadlock?
It was Deadlock. I wasn't going to say anything because it was.
Excuse me, a tasker of my dream.
Best air tasker. And I will deliver you anything, anytime you need. That cross was seriously heavy too. I had to carry that in for a few takes. I was like, why can we not have had pretend cross? This is real cross. Anyway, but that I noticed. I watched it and I was like, oh, you should have had more expression. Like your forehead's not moving. And that's the difference. I thought that's the serious person in that entertainment field, and then you've got the hosts and which is also what I do, hosts and social media and all that kind of thing. And I'm like, if I'm going to be a serious actor, whether it be whatever it is, comedy, whatever, I better start letting myself look natural and use that, because it was the one thing I noticed that I wasn't, my forehead couldn't move and it was awful.
It's wild, isn't it?
Yeah, why do we do it?
I mean, I haven't had Botox purely because I'm scared of that, and I think my comedy is really expressive and really I use a lot of facial expressions, and I don't know why it's hilarious for all of these photographers to capture me when I'm making some absolute grimace, but there's plenty of photos on the internet that will show you exactly what kind of faces I'm making when I'm on stage. But I've never done that, and I honestly was thinking just this morning, because to answer your question from before, I went into acting, and I always thought I was going to be a very, very serious, dramatic actress and do Shakespeare and Chekhov, and the dream hasn't yet died.
Good.
But I am at a moment in my life now where, like you say, if you're going to be in the media and you're going to host things or be in a position where you are not performing or inhabiting a real character or a real human being, and you are glossy and fair play to all of the incredible hosts and models and all of the people that do uphold that look. But I've come to a point in my career, I think, where I could go back to acting and kind of find that authenticity and keep the face I've got, or I could, push more towards a role in the media, in the way that you are a presenter and I look, this is a microcosm of an industry, and for anybody listening who's not in this industry, please don't feel in any way that you need to follow what I'm about to say. But it does feel like you are more employable if you are more attractive in in very specifically that kind of presentery role.
Yes, hosting and Sonia Kruger just won a gold Logie. So
gosh. Yeah. Sonia, you are flawless. You are incredible. I bow down to you, Queen. You're a sweet angel and a dream.
Absolutely. But the upkeep of that, You
The
know,
upkeep
she's in
is-
her mid-50s now. The upkeep to stay looking like Tina Sparkle from
Yes.
what was the movie that was
Strictly Ballroom,
Strictly
baby.
Ballroom would be so full on.
It's
She's one of the biggest hosts. She has more hosting roles than anyone in the country. So
and she's so brilliant at it.
So
she is
good.
a brilliant host.
So-
but that is part of the job
yeah,
too.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
looking that
And
incredible
she knows
is
it.
part
We
of the
know
job.
it. And
Yeah.
Like they're not getting Magda Zabansky, are they, to do these? And she could do it on her asshole, like
Couldn't
not on
she?
her asshole. She could do it on her head. I don't know why I said her. But you know, Magda would be amazing at hosting as well.
Incredible.
She's so smart, so quick, just as Sonia is.
Charismatic.
But we're
Yeah,
not
exactly.
choosing one. We are choosing the other. But are we choosing them, or are we being forced? That I think
That is another great conversation, and I think ties back into what we said of we are seeing the change, and we've
Yes.
seen it in our lifetime.
Yes.
And I really, really hope that maybe we can see that. I mean, maybe this is wrong to say, but I think other countries are embracing
I agree.
it
Yeah.
probably quicker than Australia is.
yes.
To see real people
Yes.
and real
especially
women.
the UK.
Yes, I totally agree. And so maybe it will change, and
I
maybe
hope-
we will see those
I
people.
think it will. I mean, we're a small country too, small industry here.
Yeah,
as well.
absolutely.
So-
and there's only a handful of people who are at the top making the decisions.
Yeah.
really. And so they are tastemakers to a degree.
Yeah,
I think it
and there's
is-
still a lot of men at the top
Yeah.
that truly believe that but they've always said this ever since the 60s when TV started. It's the man who holds the remote. Well, the 70s really was when we got remotes, but they truly believe we've got to pander to the man because they're the one who are changing the channel. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, everyone has a TV or a screen now. So
Yeah.
piss off. The other
Totally.
thing was, I just thought of this, but Poe and I did Snack Masters for 2 seasons for Channel 9. And the first season we did, I said to her on the phone, because we had to do everything remotely. We never met until the second season. I didn't meet anyone until the second season because we did
Yeah,
all the
of
first one,
course.
all during the lockdowns. And
Yeah.
but her and I, we didn't know each other very well. And so we had all these long conversations and we just got to know each other. And I think we were like a month apart in birth. Like we had so much in common. And the one thing that we both ended up saying once we got to know each other was that we couldn't believe Channel 9 diversity cast the both of us to be hosts, a fat girl and an Asian girl. We're like, number one, Channel 9, that's pretty progressive. and the thing is that the audience loved the both of us. So it was like it was proof that we didn't have to be. Because do you remember, Nikki, I don't know if you got it in Sydney, but we got it a lot in Melbourne. There was a ad for COVID. I can't remember, but Channel 9 did it, and it was just a heap of their white blonde women and men
saying, hang in there.
Be really, we can do this together, we're in it together. And I was like, I don't know who any of these women are. I mean, I know Ali Langdon. Is that all Ali Langdon? Like, I just realised at that point, and that's why Poe and I were so kind of like, oh, Channel 9, because I've never really seen anyone that isn't blonde and thin.
But then that's the proof, isn't it?
Yeah.
That the audience loved you guys.
Yeah, and then we got cabbed, so get Wasn't us that they didn't like. It was
Certainly wasn't. I mean, I think that's the thing. I think people just want authenticity.
Yeah.
I think people can
they
see
want to be
through
represented too. They
it all.
really.
And that's what's incredible about Sonia is that she is so authentic, and that is Sonia's look, and she's, God bless that DNA.
Yeah.
She's making all of those things work. And that is why Sonia Kruger is Sonia Kruger.
Yes, but also because she
I
has
think-
it inside. Like if she did lose all the looks all of a sudden, she could still bring it, and that
that's
we would
exactly right.
still follow her and go.
Yes.
When she's holding that microphone and Dancing with the Stars, and she's coming out with the clangers, that they're coming straight out of her brain.
Off the
so,
dome.
Yeah,
Totally. And I think that's the thing. I think if we are to forge ahead and make sure that we see more diversity in the faces and bodies that we're seeing on TV in all of the roles, it's about authenticity and it's about, just kind of, coming back to that kind of feeling of, what direction do I go in at this point? I don't really want to, cap all my teeth and fill my face with Botox and get on the Ozempic. No, thank you, because that's not authentic to me, And so,
good.
And so I think we are going to see a lot more authenticity, especially now that slowly we're seeing women in roles of power and in the media, and not just women, men who are also broadening their horizons, and everyone just kind of seeing the systemic toxicity in the system.
Yeah.
I think once that changes, we're gonna it's gonna be
and we're getting so
much
many
more
voices.
fun to watch.
Yeah, much more fun to watch. It's just and not be scared of the changes, of seeing the difference. I'm not getting political, and this isn't political saying this, because the Voice referendum is not supposed to be political, and I hate that people are politicizing it. But the Yes campaign did an ad, and they did wrote it really well. Whoever, these marketing people are so clever, but they had it right back, they were using John Farnham's song, but they started it from the Gough Whitlam. They showed the people watching, and that Gough Whitlam was the only incident in that whole campaign that I wasn't alive for. Everything else, and from the 80s, I remembered then. I was like, I remember watching my parents. I remember watching them make decisions regarding that. I remember, when that happened, and I remember when Bob Hawke, said, if anyone, is a bum and blah, blah, blah. And you remembered all these things. And I was thinking that it's all about just seeing it and going, it's not as scary. And life is like that, isn't it?
Totally.
And the more we see, we just have to keep presenting it. And the more you keep presenting it. And on that note, I also think it's really incredibly important with your social medias, and I've said this so many times, to get rid of the people that aren't authentic. Just get rid of them. Don't follow them, because if they're in any way making you compare yourself to them, or think that maybe I do need to get something done to my, get rid of it. Start following the people that are so authentic, so real, and, the people who are really telling you how, either shit their life is, and you're going, yes, that's how, yes. Not sugarcoating, getting rid of the filters and doing all the things, and it makes you think, oh yeah, I'm okay. I am a part of this, and it's okay. I'm allowed to be here because they're there, and that's what I love about. I follow a lot of not just fat positive, but the fat body acceptance. You don't have to be happy, because no one is happy every single day they get out of bed and go, wow, look at my beautiful big saggy belly. But accepting it. Big difference, huge difference.
Yeah, totally. I always say I wish I could have the body confidence of a white man on a road bicycle, but maybe I'm aiming too high. Maybe I just want to accept.
That's
very high.
Just have the confidence of a mediocre white man would be so good. And, that's going back to the kids. They have this confidence of a mediocre white man. And it's like, what gave you that right? Well, you're worth being here. You're allowed to have the space. Yeah. And that's what they'll say. I'm allowed to be here.
Yeah. Sometimes it's quite confronting.
Yes.
Sometimes all of my, internal, I don't know what it is, internal misogyny, just subconscious programming comes out and goes, how very dare you? How very dare you say
Who
those
do you
things?
think you are?
Exactly. And whose voice is that? Because it's not authentic Nikki Britton's voice.
That's right.
It's, whoever imposed those beliefs on me a million years ago.
Yes.
That is still keeping me in a cage, keeping me in a box.
And it's interesting
because
to see
I'm saying it to myself.
Yeah,
and I don't realise that.
Yeah, and you're watching yourself have the thoughts and go, were you right? Are you right having that thought? But, they say there are a lot of psychiatrists that have written books like I can't remember who, like Nietzsche and all that kind of thing. Those kind of, probably just straight white men.
Yeah.
There's one that always sticks out to me, and that is you always have two thoughts when you see something or hear something. And your first one is your programmed thought, and your second one is the real one. It's what you really feel.
The first is the program. That's so interesting.
So, you immediately go to judge something depending on how you're programmed. And then after that, you have and it can happen really quickly in a matter of seconds. Your second thought can be like, oh, no, they're okay.
Yeah.
So it depends on how deeply ingrained it is.
Yeah. And I find if I am in a state of fight or flight or I'm in a heightened, stressful state, even if I'm not even conscious, even if there is no good reason for me to be in that state, the programmed one will happen.
Yeah.
And it will remain.
Right.
Because I don't have the bandwidth in my head to override it with my authentic.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I think sometimes you're just operating on this subconscious, the motherboard is just taking over. The motherboard of programming is taking over. And I think that's such I don't want to say like self-care and taking time for yourself because I feel like it's just a joke now. And if you can manage time for self-care, we're probably in the bloody, blessed 5% of the world that
can.
At the moment with everything that's going on, what a sweet, sweet privilege we have. But at the same time, whatever teeny tiny way you can find space to have the more authentic thought or to have the more compassionate thought it's so important, right? Because I think so many people are walking around just going off the programming that happened. Yeah. We're
just
spiky
said it. Little
CH urchins who are, freaking out at every touch.
All of a sudden, spitting out spit at people. Yeah. You just inked me. Well, you just said it. When you're stressed, that's what you do. And you know what? Everyone around you, walking around the street, you just, she's stressed, he's stressed, they're stressed.
Yeah.
We're just stressed.
Totally.
From kids to old people, there's so many stresses happening that, to remember that, again, you're like, I can't remember. Like my motherboard is overloading, it's misfiring, and all I have is just a bit of road rage to yell out at you and in the car because, you didn't need to do that.
Yes.
Kind of thing. So it's incredible how complicated we all are. All kind of go, oh God, it sounds like a bloody Oprah now, all going through the same stuff in different ways.
And we're all actually connected.
Yeah.
Energetically, we're all connected.
Yeah. And sometimes physically, but sometimes not.
Should we talk about dating?
Yeah, let's talk. Because I want to know, your stand-up is always about dating and being a single woman. What the are you going to do if you meet the love of your life?
Quit. I'll quit everything. I'll happily walk away from it all, and just no. Acting is what I'll do. I'll act that I'm a single lady.
Yep.
In some of the greatest blockbusters that this world has ever seen.
Well, it's like
are you listening, Hollywood?
But I think Adele said she would be like that, but then she had a breakup and she got to write another really great breakup album.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's just it's all a journey, man.
Yeah.
I guess that if I fell in love, I honestly don't know. God, cut this bit. I think I just went down into some weird tunnel in my own head of fantasizing.
What does he look like?
Oh my God. I don't even know. I just know his touch. I know it's gentle.
Know how he smells.
And it's supportive. And God, it's there for me.
Yes.
It's just a hand on the back when you've had a bad day.
Oh gosh. He's just in your corner, isn't he?
He's in my goddamn corner.
He's that guy that when you're at a party and you're both in separate areas of the house and then all of a sudden your eyes touch and he goes, I got you.
I got you. God, what I give to be got. I just want someone to have me got. Get me. You got me, baby. Please.
When was your last relationship?
That's such a great question because I guess
Thank you for complimenting all my great questions, by the way. Thank you.
if you asked me, it would have been from April to July this year. But if you asked the man I was in the relationship with, he would say, we were never actually in a relationship. So
What a dick.
jury's out, I guess.
Oh.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. What a dick, Yvie. And
Yeah.
I really have done the therapy and I have tried so very hard to choose better. And yet still this happens. So with the greatest of respect to all of the good men out there, because I truly believe there are good men out there, I am stepping back. I think that I am in order to not give up completely on the beautiful men, I think I just have to take myself out of the race.
Just have a break.
Because, well, yeah, you say
Or you're
break.
retiring.
I'm not sure if I might be retiring. I think I've gone into semi-retirement, and if the job of my dreams, pun intended, comes along and just makes me an offer I can't refuse, I'll reconsider.
Okay.
But I don't think that I actually maybe don't think that it's for me in this lifetime. And I don't say that to be miserable or to thwart anyone's dreams or ideas, but maybe I don't know. Maybe it's the motherboard, maybe it's the programming that is getting in the way. And my sweetheart, I just can't put her through it again. I just can't keep doing it.
I hear you. I see you. I feel you.
Thank you.
And you know what? You are not, I don't think you're being miserable. I think you're being a realist. There
Yeah,
are
it's-
good men out there, but
But
there
they're
are
not.
too many other dickheads out there.
Yeah.
And the good men, they're locked and loaded down by good women.
Yeah, by good women, and good on you, good women.
Yeah, good on you.
ya.
But
you know what I
if
was
we
doing?
can start
I was,
killing them, widowers are the way to
Okay.
go. A good
See, I don't-
widower.
if in case the police are listening, I was never. I mean, I wasn't fully across this plan before I agreed to do the podcast. I
No, we're
promise
not
going on
killing.
a
We're
killing
definitely
streak.
not killing the
We're
good
not.
women, but the good men. If you are letting a
Truly.
good man go,
Oh yeah, but a good widower. Oh,
Yeah, good
Or
widower.
a lovely divorcee.
divorcee. But they often come with the baggage. Although if they're good
Sure.
men, they've got good exes. And there are great amicable breakups. And
That
so
is
that's
true.
another. And that's what I think, because I've never had children. You've never had children. I'm 50 and I'm at that
you?
age. Yes.
What?
1972, represent, about to turn
Oh,
51.
my goodness.
But what I wanted to say is I've never
please.
had children. You still may. I'm literally at that time where I know I can't anymore. And that's a really weird moment.
Yeah.
To have perimenopause. And maybe I could, like if I tried, but I don't. I think I'm at that, body reproductive stage where it's going and it's dead.
Just
right?
the reproduction part of it.
Yeah, just
But
that
in
bit.
terms of the sleigh, you
Yeah,
are.
slaying.
I mean, you're in your sleigh zone.
Yes. But now, because I have the broodiness, I do have broodiness about me. But even though I didn't have that, I've always loved babies. But at the moment, I'm broody for a grandbaby. So I'm thinking,
That's amazing.
if I am going to meet a man, because I'm like you, 10 years ago is when I started to do you know what, I can't put myself through this anymore. I'm out and I'm just going to focus on my career and making myself happy and great, great friendships. Animals, which we'll talk about in 1 second.
Oh, yes,
And then, and make, just realizing that being single is not such a bad thing. It can actually be a really great thing, especially when you have these amazing friendships with these women who are like going, oh, my husband is such a dickhead. And you're like,
Yes.
yeah, I don't have that.
Yeah.
I don't have that at
Yeah.
all. And I don't have those kids either, yelling at me or telling me they hate me. But I'm thinking now I could find a man who is a divorcee with a beautiful ex-wife who have adult children. They're all in their mid-20s.
Oh, that's
starting to
nice.
pop out the babies. And I'm like, would you like Granny Yvie or Nana Yvie? Who would I be called?
lovely.
call myself Grandy, as in Grand Yvie.
That's cute.
I just made that up. That was so good. I mean, I put it out there. And that I'll be the Grandy for the babies that are not mine, but I can love them and kiss them and then give them back when they shit themselves.
that is that's absolutely perfect.
It could happen, couldn't it?
That's perfect. That's absolutely could happen. Oh, man. See, this is the thing. Like, I think we've just, as I would say to my 20-year-old self, you've been sold a lie. You've been sold a lie. Because I speak to my
ever after lie.
Yeah, that it
Complete
needs to
me
happen.
lie. Jerry
it needs
Maguire
to happen
lie.
Exactly. This way, by this time, in this order. None of that's true. And I think, like, truly, there's nothing you can say to someone who is going through the terror of, oh my God, I haven't got the man or had the kid or done the thing or that is going to ease that, because it's just like, it's deep. And I get that. But from this side looking back, oh man, honestly, I think we might have dodged a bullet by not having the kids.
I believe we have.
So many of my beautiful friends, and I love them, and I'm so here for them, and I support them.
Yes.
But it is tough, man. It is so tough. And I guess my question always was, there's a great quote from Sex and the City, season 6. She's dating the Russian.
Never go wrong with that. Yes. Alexandra.
And Carrie says, I think it's with a conversation with Charlotte, and Charlotte says, why would you it's something about
it was a great story.
Why would you give up on kids for a man you don't know is going to work out? And she said, why would I give up a man that might be great for kids I don't even know that I want?
Yes.
And it is that thing of because at an age actually my whole life I've never really had I'm incredibly maternal, have always worked with kids, love kids.
Yeah.
I am the best auntie going round. But I've never felt the urge to have my very own. And that's kind of been pretty consistent. And so I feel like I need to listen to that.
Yes.
But the one little kind of rhetoric that gets into my head sometimes is, but it might change. But one day, what if?
What if? See, that's the programming. That's the patriarch. That's what they want you to think.
And so sometimes I think, should I freeze my eggs? Should I do that just so I've got the option? But also, that's a lot of effort and money. It's a lot of money.
And I just think if it's going to happen, it's supposed to happen. It will. It's just will. That's a whole other kettle of fish that we won't get into, that IVF and the freezing of the eggs and everything. But I honestly believe if you want to freeze your eggs, it's because you have this unquenchable urge to be a mum.
Yeah,
and
I don't think it's maybe one day I'll wake up and go,
unless you're a millionaire.
Yeah, exactly.
And you have the money. Who has that kind of money? If
you've got the means, I do not. I do not, because I am a single mortgage holder, a woman working in the arts, has hit an age where she's got some questions, and I have a fur baby that I need to support.
That's what I wanted to we're going to end on this. Malcolm. How is Malcolm?
Malcolm, my sweet little baby. I can't.
Only time I allow baby voice. The only time is with people and their dogs.
I can't talk about him without that voice.
No, that's fine.
He is the most magnificent asshole you have ever met in your life. I love him so much. And has he reduced my life? Yes. Has he made it infinitely better? Absolutely. It's I guess this is my version of having a kid.
It is.
He was a stray, so I rescued him. He was a stray, and I've had him for just over 18 months now, and to see the dog that I rescued versus the dog that he is today is, I think, people talk about legacy and what will you have if you don't have kids, or you don't have a career where you leave a piece of art that will be, live forever, enduring. This is one dog, and it's one short life in a way compared to a human life.
To us.
And I just don't think it is any less valued And it's I'm gonna make myself emotional. The things that you're proud of in your life, when you can look back and you go, that was special. To rehabilitate a dog that had no love and was so alone, and sure, did I get him in the pandemic? Was when I was alone? Absolutely. Am I probably drawing my narrative very aligned to what his was at the time? You betcha. So in a way, have I rescued myself? Yeah. Maybe.
You have, yeah.
You know, but he, I just think, you know, we are all beings on this earth. We've all got hearts and souls, and I am so lucky that like properly dysfunctional, unsocialized nightmare of a sweet little thing cross paths with me. Like I actually feel humbled and privileged that I get to spend my time with this absolute lunatic.
Yeah. Oh my God. I could not connect with someone more right now. Like just that whole, just the way you look and your whole voice, everything, when you just think about him, it changes.
Yeah.
Like it's the connection that we have with these little souls. And there is, you know, they say there is nothing like the gratitude that you will get from a dog, but there is nothing like the gratefulness you will get from a rescue dog. The way they look at you, they know that their life has changed. You are their entire world. Everything.
Yeah.
Like I've never ever felt the love from another human the way I have from a dog. They can't even speak.
I know.
It's so bizarre how you just, you know, and I could not be happier for you and Malcolm that you found each other.
Mate.
How old is he now?
I mean, he tries to run away at every given opportunity. So I'm not sure if this isn't
He's just
me
keeping
just
you on your
abducting
toes.
him.
No, he's
He keeps me on my toes. He's I got him when he was 3.5, and I've had him for about 20 months now.
Yeah, okay.
Just to be a real mother.
Yes,
the
yes.
month of the baby.
He's 200 months now.
Yeah, and he was a rescue from a country pound, and he wasn't microchipped or desexed and he's, you know, still got some little quirks and things he's terrified of, and
you don't know his background.
You just don't know. And it's such an act of love to just sit and bear witness with an extreme sensitivity to an animal that the only way you can communicate is to listen with your whole being to what works for them, what doesn't work for them, how they, and it's like, to earn that trust. And it has taken 18 months.
Watch it happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's, oh God, he's such a sweet angel. And I don't know what we'd be without each other.
Well, you got the man of your dreams after all, didn't you?
I did. I got him. And honestly, I think that's why I can now semi-retire from dating with at least some degree of love and respect for men. Still, because this is for you guys. I'm taking myself off the market for you. Because if any other jerk breaks my heart, I'm going postal on you guys.
Yeah.
And that's not fair.
No. To get out while you can, and you're still making funny jokes about it, because otherwise you're just going to go postal, and no one needs that. So what's next for you? What's going on right now?
Actually, October 20th, if you're in Sydney, I'm doing I'm filming my most recent solo show.
Oh, good, because I was just thinking, so many comedians are having their own shows on Prime and Netflix and everything, and I noticed you don't have one, so you're doing one because you need one.
Thanks, mate. Well, this is the filming, and then I get to go, hey, who wants it, baby? So
you're going to ship it out?
I can't tell you what platform it was going to be on, but if you are in Sydney and you're available on the 20th of October, I can guarantee you an hour of rock-solid laughs. And
where are you filming at?
The Grand Electric in Redfern in Sydney.
God,
it's such a beautiful venue. Yeah, it's a really hot venue. Yeah, it's hot. It's actually really hot, guys. So
Final
just come along. I will take you however you like. If you're feeling hot, beautiful. If you're not, that's okay too. But
Wear
it's
your
going to
body
be
bodies.
great.
You will piss yourself. So 20th of October, they can go on to what's your Instagram handle?
I'm at the Nikki Britton.
At the Nikki Britton. Go and find it.
Yes.
And the info will be in your link, like kind of like how to get a seat or stuff like that.
Yes, it absolutely will be because I will go home and do that and put that in the link.
She's a comedian. She's not an administrator, people.
That's exactly
Get
right.
over yourselves. Oh, that's great. I'd just like to thank you so much for being here and being on. You have made me laugh and wet my pants a little bit. I didn't wear my moddy bodies today because I completely didn't even realise that I knew I was interviewing a comedian, but I forgot how funny you are. So it was like, oh, now I should have known because I'm just leaving a little bit of me behind the studio.
There you go.
Thank you, Nikki Britton. I adore you.
It is my absolute pleasure.
Will you come back another time?
It would be my pleasure. We'll finish all the stories that we
started.
started.
Yeah.
And didn't finish.
That's just the typical women conversation, isn't it?
Absolutely. And we know. We've put a pin
Yes.
where we'll come back to it. We know.
It's like people who work with children. They know how to talk and get back to a conversation 2 weeks later that you had because you had to go, you over there, stop it.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
So I look forward to that.
Good. Thank you all for listening. I know that you've enjoyed this episode. Please rate, review, subscribe, all of the things. You know what? I love you all. Thank you for letting me be in your ear holes. Thank you for letting the beautiful Nikki Britton be in your ear holes. I'll be back on Tuesday with my solo ep. Bye.